You ever move your family into what looks like suburban heaven, only to discover the devil wears pastel blazers and drives a golf cart? That was Desert Harmony Estates, Arizona, rows of beige stucco homes baking under the sun, where every blade of grass, every shutter color, and apparently every breath you take had to be pre-approved by the HOA. I'm Derek Vance, 41, 8 years in the Army, now pushing pallets at the logistics yard, so I can give my 9-year-old son, Ethan, the quiet life I never had. 2 weeks after we unpacked, I bolted a simple 3x5 American flag to the porch post. Ethan helped. We talked about what it meant. He saluted it like a little soldier. That pride lasted exactly 48 hours. The golf cart screeched to a halt in my driveway, like a tank rolling into Normandy. Barbara Kensington, Barb to the few people still stupid enough to like her, stepped out in a lemon-yellow blazer, pearls tight enough to choke a python, blonde bob not daring to move in the desert wind. Clipboard clutched like the 10 Commandments. "Derek," she sang in that syrupy voice she saved for peasants, "that flag has to come down by sundown tomorrow. Section 4.2 of our covenants clearly states no exterior displays that disrupt aesthetic conformity." I set my coffee down slow. "It's the American flag, Barb. You really want to tell a veteran he can't fly it on his own porch?" She smiled the way sharks smile at chum. "It's not about the flag, dear. It's about uniformity. Next thing you know, we'll have football banners, political signs, maybe even those tacky garden gnomes in bikinis. Property values would plummet." I almost laughed. "Uniformity? Or just your personal color palette?" She was already rolling away. Next morning I found the violation notice duct taped to my door like a middle school prank. $500 due in 10 days or late fees would stack faster than her fake compliments. That's when I got mad. I spent the night on my laptop, coffee going cold. The U.S. Flag Code and the Freedom to Display the American Flag Act of 2005 were crystal clear. No HOA in America can ban a properly displayed U.S. flag. Period. I printed the highlighted pages, drove to the HOA drop box at dawn, and left a polite note on top. "Before you fine a veteran for patriotism, maybe read federal law first. Have a blessed day." Barb didn't blink. She doubled the fine and blasted a neighborhood newsletter calling me a disruptive element undermining community harmony. Ethan came home from school crying because his best friend's mom said we were bad neighbors who don't care about rules. That's when it stopped being about a flag and started being personal. I installed 2 cameras, 1 porch, 1 tree, and started watching. Barb's unannounced inspections, her passive-aggressive notes, the way she'd whisper to other residents that I was creating division. But something bigger was happening. Across the street, Mrs. Ramirez got fined $300 for growing marigolds, unauthorized color palette. The young couple 2 doors down got hit for solar pathway lights that weren't on the approved vendor list. Old Mr. Kowalski, 78 and on fixed income, was slapped for his garden hose being visible on a hook. Every target was the same: single parents, immigrant families, retirees, people who couldn't afford lawyers. I started a spreadsheet. 23 names in 4 days. Then I noticed the pattern. Every fined house sat on the edge of the neighborhood, right against the empty desert parcel owned by Kensington Development Group, Barb's brother-in-law's company. I called my old Army buddy Marcus, now a real estate attorney in Phoenix. He read my data and whistled low. "Derek, this isn't harassment. This is a paper trail foreclosure machine. Stack enough violations, slap liens, foreclose neglected properties, then sell the whole strip as community redevelopment. Your HOA queen is trying to hand her family a shopping center payday." My stomach dropped. Ethan was in the next room building Legos, completely unaware some of our neighbors were 1 fine away from losing their homes. That weekend I printed flyers, no HOA stamp needed, and slipped them into mailboxes. Community Legal Awareness Night, your rights versus their rules. My garage. Saturday 7 p.m. 27 people showed up. By the end of the night, we had 42 signatures on a petition and a group chat blowing up with stories. A single mom admitted she'd been eating ramen so she could pay landscaping violations. An elderly veteran said he'd sold his fishing boat to cover fines. They were furious. I upgraded the cameras with audio and night vision. Then I waited. The first sign things were cracking came when Barb's nephew, a landscaping contractor who just happened to sit on the HOA committee, showed up at 2 a.m. wearing a hoodie. My tree cam caught him clear as day, trying to yank my flagpole down with a crowbar. When it wouldn't budge, he pulled bolt cutters. The porch cam got his face when he turned toward the motion light. Game over. I handed the footage, the spreadsheet, the redevelopment filing I'd pulled from county records, and 42 sworn statements to the Pima County Sheriff's Office. They didn't laugh this time. Barb called an emergency board meeting. I showed up with a binder thick enough to stop a bullet and 100 neighbors who'd never bothered to attend before. The community center was standing room only. Barb tried to gavel the meeting to order in her sweetest dictator voice. Order! This is not the time for baseless accusations. Someone shouted, Why are you fining people into foreclosure so your brother-in-law can build condos? Another voice, Why is your nephew on my security footage with a crowbar? I stood up calm, binder open. Section 12.7 of your own bylaws says any board member with a financial conflict of interest must recuse. You didn't. Section 9.3 says liens require court approval. You skipped that. And federal law says you can't selectively enforce rules to drive people out. We have it all documented. Motion 4. Vote of no confidence right now. Hands shot up before she could speak. 83 in favor. The bylaws required only a simple majority at a special meeting. Done. Barb's face went the color of old oatmeal. Her pearls actually trembled. She stormed out muttering something about ingrates. Within a week the board was dissolved. The county pulled the redevelopment application. Barb's nephew was arrested for vandalism and trespassing. Then the real hammer dropped. Detectives showed up at her McMansion with warrants. Turns out Kensington Development had funneled campaign contributions into Barb's secret city council run, in exchange for first dibs on every foreclosed lot. Emails, bank transfers, even architectural drawings of a shiny new shopping plaza where our homes used to be. The civil suit from 40 residents settled for $285,000 in damages and refunds. Barb was indicted on wire fraud, conspiracy, and deprivation of rights under color of law. Her lawyer tried the emotional distress card. The judge ordered a psych eval and laughed. Last month she took a plea, 18 months and full restitution. Her house went into foreclosure. The for sale sign lasted 3 days before the bank yanked it. Desert Harmony Estates feels different now. Neighbors wave again. Kids play in front yards without looking over their shoulders. Mrs. Ramirez planted marigolds the size of dinner plates. Ethan and I raised a second flag, a POW MIA banner right beside Old Glory. Nobody said a word. The new Voluntary Civic Association meets once a month. Rules only pass with 2/3 vote. No more anonymous complaints, no more golf cart Gestapo. One kid even suggested, let people paint their doors any color as long as it's not neon pink. The room laughed for 5 straight minutes. Sitting on my porch last night, flags snapping in the warm wind, Ethan asked why the neighborhood felt happier. I told him the truth. Because when regular people stop being afraid and start using the same rules the bullies wrote, the bullies always trip over their own fine print. So here's the question that keeps me up at night, folks. Was Barbara Kensington really just protecting property values? Or was she the ultimate abuser of power who got exactly the karma she spent years serving to everyone else? And when the rules finally turned on their maker, who really got served? Drop your answer in the comments. True or false? The HOA was the victim here? Let's talk.